You're watching Samuel Goodwin on YouTube, and I realized I actually skipped some beginner tricks when I started with yo-yo, and I'm going to go back today and fix one of those. In the list of early tricks that generally websites recommend that you learn, there's a trick called the Jade whip that I never actually learned because I had a lot of trouble with it. I thought it was hard, and I just skipped it. Basically, every trick is optional, but tricks build on other tricks, and so the general concept of a whip, which the Jade whip is maybe the most basic whip, I've been bad at those the whole time because I never even figured out the basic one. So hopefully by going back and working on this early one and actually getting the hang of that, I can be better prepared for more complicated whips that come up as I try to learn new tricks. So we're just gonna take a step back so that hopefully in the future steps forward will be easier. So fingers crossed, let's see what happens. So the trick is not super complicated. There's very few steps, right? We go to trapeze, which is pretty standard. It's like the first thing you learn. And then we go to trapeze and his brother, which is maybe the second or third trick you learn. But in this case, instead of going like that onto the finger, we go like this onto the hand, and then we pinch here, and then we fling this around so that it goes into the yo-yo like this, and that's the Jade whip, is that whippy motion of getting it back into the string. So if I can do that, I will have landed this trick. I tried to do it back when I was learning stuff and it came up in the list of things to learn, and it was really hard and I had a lot of trouble with it, and so I said, man, let's go to something else. And everything else worked, so then I kept going and I never came back. But now we're going back. There's not very many steps, but the timing is really critical, which makes it still difficult even though it's a fairly simple trick. Nope. I think that was it. Maybe say in the comments if you think I did it wrong, but I think that was it. So the trick is really that when I was trying to do it before, I would get to here and then try to fling it over, which doesn't necessarily work. So it does really need to be where this part is coming around just like right away. The other part I found that helped is to have my hand out like this as I go to fling it across, which kind of holds this loop out so that only one side hits the other. Because if they both hit, then that's sort of pointless and then it drops, and that's not what you wanted. So conveniently, this happens sometimes where it's actually a little bit easier if you just skip the trick and come back later, because I have generally more yo-yo skill now than I did when I was originally trying to learn this trick. And apparently that helped, because now this made a lot more sense. And it took me, 10 minutes to work it out. Sweet. Now the only question is, how many more tries will it take for me to do it a second time? I had a number of tricks where I landed it once on one day, and then it took me literally 2 or 3 weeks before I was able to land it a second time. turned out way easier than I thought it would. And I actually landed it multiple times. Unless I'm actually doing it wrong, in which case someone please tell me in the comments, like quickly. Then yeah, I can Jade Whip now. It wasn't super consistent, and some of that I blame on the fact that I was outside and there's wind, and yo-yo string is very light, and the faintest breeze is enough to blow the string and make it hard to do things. But yeah, I feel like it was working, and I don't know, in a month or so, maybe I'll be like super duper consistent with it. So hopefully you all are drinking water and taking care of yourselves and doing something vaguely athletic this weekend. At least go for a walk or something, you know, do something for your body. Get the blood circulating a little bit. See the sunlight if you can. And yeah, I'll catch you next week.